Hello, this video is going to talk about evaluating sources. This week I'm going to have you do a discussion where you evaluate a source and then talk about the evaluation that you made. Evaluating is very important in college work, writing, and research. To evaluate means to make a judgment about something based on certain criteria. So we all evaluate all the time. When we go shopping for a car, we look at different models and we evaluate. When we are picking a significant other, we evaluate them based on certain criteria. Even though that doesn't sound very romantic, that is actually what we're doing. We evaluate all kinds of things. We evaluate professors, and we talk about whether or not we'd want to take that professor based on certain criteria. So what are criteria? Criteria are the set of standards that you use to judge something. So when it comes to a car, you're going to look at price, the way it looks, the gas mileage, and how it runs, how it drives. So these are all different criteria you would use. There are questions to ask when you're evaluating a source. First, who wrote it? It should be somebody with authority, some type of expert on this subject. Why they wrote it. It must be written in order to add to the conversation, not just sell ads or get people to click their mouse. And how they got their information. It must be based in some type of research, not pure subjective opinion. And what I mean by pure subjective opinion is subjective means this is just how I feel, and this is how I want. I just want to write this stuff that I feel. There's nothing wrong with that, but when it comes to doing academic research, we don't want things that are just pure subjective opinion. We want more objective information, stuff that was based in some type of research. So who, why, and how are your criteria you're going to use when you evaluate a source? Who. So let's go with who first. Who is there an author? There needs to be an author. It shouldn't be written by a mystery person. Is the author formally educated in the subject? Does the author work for a university or research center? Is the author a recognized scholar in the subject? Or does the author have an established history of research and writing on the subject? So this last one's important because you don't have to be an academic or work at a university or a big research center to have some authority on a subject. You could be a journalist that spends your life researching politics or health or something. The next criteria is why. Why did they write this? Is it a mask for advertising? Is it just something that's designed to get us to go lead us to a product that we're supposed to buy or service? Think about the purpose. Is it pure entertainment, or was it written to persuade us or inform us? This one, it's not saying that you can't use something that was written to entertain, but you don't want to use it as objective information if it was just written to entertain. You could even use things that are written to persuade you. There's nothing wrong with that. You just want to make sure that it's not overly biased. You want to make sure that your sources are trying to add legitimately to a conversation on a subject. That doesn't mean everybody has to agree, but you also want to avoid things that are extremely biased. The last criteria is how. Does the author cite all their sources? Just saying a study was done is not really a citation. So if you have an author who is citing where they got their information from, that's a good thing. Is there a list of sources at the end? That's a good thing. There won't always be, and that's okay. But if there is, that means you've really found a great piece of writing, a great source. Does the author's evidence support the claim? Is the author's evidence objective research instead of personal narrative? So evidence means, just like in a courtroom, if somebody was on trial for murder and that person's lawyer came in and said, judge and jury, look, I have this video of my client at Burger King at the time of the murder, so surely my client could not have committed the murder. That's a piece of evidence to support a claim. The claim being, my client is innocent. It's the same in writing. When we say something, we need to back it up with evidence, and so do our sources. They need to back up what they say with evidence. So if we find a source that does not back up what they're saying with evidence, then we need to find another source. There needs to be some kind of evidence in there. Now finally, does it come from a peer-reviewed publication, which means the research was evaluated by experts before it was published? That's always a really good thing. If it's just some type of a blog or Facebook post or something like that, that type of writing does not need to go through anybody else before it gets published. It's just you type it and you hit send and it's on the internet. So we really need to be careful that we're not using bad sources in our writing. So now I'm going to have you read a source and evaluate it and discuss it using these criteria. So good luck. Have fun. Goodbye.